میگه مثلا گفته که ایران باید اعلام بکنه ما سلاح هسته‌ای نخواهیم داشت. اینو که ما مقام معظم رهبری اینو فرموده ما اصلا سلاح هسته‌ای نخواهیم داشت. فرق میکنه با من سیاستمدار بگم که ممکنه مثلا حالا مثل ماها که اونجوری نیستیم، سیاستمدار راست نمیگم با آدما، ولی ممکنه من تصور کنم من مثل اونای سیاستمدارم منم دروغ میگم، ولی رهبر یه جامعه، رهبر دینی یه جامعه که نمیتونه دروغ بگه. وقتی ایشون اعلام میکنه ما سلاح هسته‌ای نخواهیم داشت یعنی نخواهیم داشت. منم اگه بخوام به اون طرف برم نمیتونم داشته باشم از نظر اعتقادی، حق ندارم، حتی تو ذهن من باشه حق ندارم این کارو بکنم. بعد اینا میگه اعلام نکردن که ما به اصطلاح نمیخوایم سلاح هسته‌ای داشته باشیم.
By the time the Islamic Empire or the Islamic Caliphate or the Islamic State ended in 1924, the Islamic Caliphate had existed for 1400 years and it ended less than 100 years ago. By the time the Islamic Caliphate ended in 1924, 270 million people around the world were killed by Islam. 270 million. And we didn't have weapons of mass destruction and there was nuclear weapons. All of these people were killed, butchered by the sword. The people in the world, less than 100 years ago, how many people knew this history? Please raise your hand. We in America have failed to educate our children about history. We in America failed to educate our population about history. Our children in high school, you take any 17, 16-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid, and ask them about World War II. They can't even tell you what happened in World War II. For them, it's ancient history, and we still have our World War II veteran walking among us. That's how little we know of history. Islam ended in 1924, the Caliphate. People thought the Caliphate will never be resurrected. The Caliphate will never come back. But two things happened in the Middle East in the last century that made the Islamists be able to resurrect the Caliphate. Number one is the discovery of oil in Saudi Arabia, which we were able to discover and were stupid enough to allow them to nationalize it. And the number two that happened was Ayatollah Khomeini coming to power in 1979. That gave the Islamists the money and also the spiritual covering in order to explode on the world stage. Things you need to understand about Islam and the principles of war in Islam. One is the law of taqiyya, which means lying and deception. It means that a Muslim man can lay his hand on the Quran and swear that he is telling the truth, knowing that he is lying, but also knowing that the Quran will forgive him because he is advancing the cause of Islam. The second thing you need to know about is that the Treaty of Al-Hudaybiyah, which is an Islamic principle of war and a model on how to deceive your enemy when you have to sign peace treaties with your enemy. And it is based on an example by Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was attacking the Meccans and their caravans when he was living in Medina. One day he attacked them because this is how he got the goodies. He would attack them, rob them, and spread the goodies among his men. And this is how he was able to recruit, because this is how people made money without working. And so he attacked the Meccan caravans. When he realized he's not able to defeat the Meccans in that city of Al-Hudaybiyah, in that place, he signed a 10-year treaty with them. Does that sound familiar? A 10-year treaty with them that says he will not attack them, he will have peace with them, he will not declare war on them. Muhammad used the treaty for 2 years to build his military, strengthen his army, and when he realized he was strong enough to attack his enemies when they least expected it because they thought they had a peace treaty with Muhammad, he broke the treaty, attacked them 2 years later, and Mecca fell within 24 hours because they were not expecting the attack. And that became a principle of war in Islam. And to give you an example of how that is practiced, this is why anything signed with Iran means nothing to them. And to give you an example of how this law has been put to use in recent history, Yasser Arafat, who's not an Islamist, but he is a Muslim, met with the Israelis and signed the Oslo Accord in 1993. Remember all the handshaking at the lawn of the White House? The Oslo Accord, Yasser Arafat used the peace treaty, the Oslo Accord with Israel, to get Israel to bring him back and give him his territory, finance his military, train his police, and give his police the weapons. Yasser Arafat broke the Oslo Accord 8 years later, didn't even wait 10 years, and declared the second intifada in 2000, and all hell broke loose. He used the same treaty to win and deceive against his enemies and deceive his enemies. When Jordanian press, after Yasser Arafat signed the Oslo Accord with Israel, and Egyptian press would interview Yasser Arafat, and they would say, how could you sign a peace treaty with the devil? How could you sign a peace treaty with the Jews? Yasser Arafat will tell them, remember Hudaybiyah. That's all he would have to say. The whole Muslim world knew exactly what Yasser Arafat was talking about. We in the West and the Jews in Israel, it was over their heads. Nobody understood what Hudaybiyah was referring to. And this is the type of deception that we are dealing with. So when Iran signs a peace treaty with the United States for 10 years, they are using us as useful idiots, as gullible, ignorant people who are signing a peace treaty with the devil in order for Iran to continue her thing. People are wondering, how come ISIS is having such success recruiting people from all over the world? They exploded all over the world. The Pew Research did a poll. And of course, the Pew Research is not Brigitte Gabriel, is not Fox News, is not Tony Perkins. The Pew Research did a poll in 2013 when they went around the world and interviewed Muslims from Islamic countries all over the world. And they asked them two questions. Would you like to have Sharia law as the law of your country? And would you like to see the Islamic Caliphate? And remember, this was in 2013, before ISIS. The 5 top countries in the world, in the Islamic world, the 5 top Islamic countries: Indonesia, 204 million Muslims. Indonesia, Pakistan, Egypt, Nigeria, and Bangladesh. 77% of Muslims interviewed in these Islamic countries, 77% want the establishment of Sharia law and want the establishment of an Islamic state. That means 77% of the world, quote, moderate Muslims agree with the establishment of ISIS and what ISIS is doing. Let's not fool ourselves.
موقعیت زنان و نقش زنان در دولت آینده شما چگونه خواهد بود؟
موقعیت یک انسان صحیح و از این به بعد زنها و مردها آزاد، ولی اگر چنانچه بخواهند کارهای خلاف عفت بکنند یا خلاف مصلحت مملکت بکنند، البته اونها جلوگیری خواهد شد.
بارها خبرنگاران ازش میپرسن زنها آزادن؟ میگفت بله، زنها در جمهوری اسلامی که ما درست کنیم یا حکومت اسلامی اوایل میگفت آزادن مطابق شرع اسلام. این مطابق شرع شما نمیفهمیدیم بعدن چه مصیبتی خواهد شد. یا میگفتش که مثلا بارها ازش میپرسیدن مخالفین حق حرف زدن، یا میگفت حتی کمونیست‌ها آزادن برابر شرع اسلام. یا منطقه نمیدونستیم این برابر شرع اسلام یعنی که فردا اینا کافرن، مرتدن، میتونن سرشون هم ببرن، اعدامشون هم بکنن.
وقتی من کتاب کشف الاسرار خمینی رو خوندم دیدم که اون موضوع تقیه رو، یعنی هدف وسیله رو توجیه میکنه، همون ایده لنینیستی رو در اونجا به عنوان یک اصل مهم اسلامی مطرح کرده و هر نوع دروغ گفتن و هر نوع اجحاف رو لازم میدونه برای اینکه هدفی که داره یک هدف خدایی و بهشتی و غیر ذالک. من خودم یک مقاله از خمینی نخونده بودم. موقعی که من 6 ماه بعد از انقلاب کشف الاسرار خمینی رو خوندم، از خجالت احساس شرم کردم که من چگونه تونستم از آدمی که این کتاب رو نوشته و یه همچین تصویری از ایران آینده داشته اینقدر دفاع میکردم. خبرنگارا از او پرسیدن که این حرفایی که در پاریس زده بودی منظور، گفت خدعه کردیم.
خدعه در لغت مکر، فریب، حیله و فسونی است که اسلام مجوز به کارگیری آن در مواجهه با دشمن را صادر کرده است. حالا 44 سال از آن روزها گذشته و حکومتی که آیت الله خمینی بر پایه خدعه بنا نهاد دیوارهای خودش را آجر به آجر بلندتر کرده است.